Hey guys, welcome back. I want to go ahead and tell you about the 7 tips to utilize your digital teacher planner. If you're looking for a detailed preview of this digital teacher planner, I have one in my YouTube channel. I have a quick flip through and also a detailed editing video. The first tip I'm going to share with you is to make the lasso tool your best friend. So when you're looking up at the Goodnotes toolbar, you need to select on the annotation mode, and once you do that, you will have all of the different annotation tools. The lasso tool is right here in the annotation toolbar, and it is more of like a dotted circle line. So if you go to some place where you're going to write your lesson plans, and once you start writing or anywhere that you write, if you don't like the way it looks, you can easily use the lasso tool to select it and resize it. So when you click on the lasso tool, it has a different selection mode, and it will tell you if you want to use just handwriting that you want to select, images, or text boxes. So when I lasso around this word math lesson and I click on it, I now have all of these options. I can take a screenshot, resize it, color it, convert it, cut, copy, or delete. So if I'm looking to resize it, I click on it and I can easily make it bigger or smaller. One of the best things that I like is if I have a substitute teacher or I have a sudden absence and I need to move my lesson to the next week or the next day, then I can easily just lasso what I want to move and move it to the next day. It also helps whenever I'm writing my class list down, like let's say in my grade book. If I'm writing down a few students' names and I don't want to rewrite this every single time, I can easily just lasso around the names, click, copy, and go where I need to paste it, hold down on the screen, and then hit paste. So that way if I want my whole class selected again, I don't have to reset it, okay? Tip number 2 is to insert pictures of any papers so that way you don't have to keep extra papers. So some different things that you could insert would be parent notes, faculty meeting agendas, dress down day flyers, fundraiser flyers, birthday party invitations, or even pictures of slides at a meeting or a conference. So what I like to do is I have a section for my professional development, and if there's a slide that I want to insert and it's up on the screen and I want to quickly take a picture of it because I don't have time to maybe write down the information, come right here to the annotation mode and you would click on the camera and you can insert a picture by double clicking on it. Obviously my camera is taken by my, my case, but you could take a picture of it. So let's pretend to take a picture of a sticky note, and then we will insert it. So as you can see, I just took a picture of the sticky note, and if you would say that this is an agenda or anything like that, I would just hit use photo. Now it may insert the entire thing, and if you want to crop that, then you would just click on the arrows up at the top, hit crop, and adjust it as so. And then you can easily insert it where it needs to be. You can exit off. If there's another thing you want to take a picture of, like a faculty meeting agenda, you could easily insert that as well. And I'll show you what that would look like. I took a picture of this like upcoming list of things I need to do with my classes. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit use photo, and then now I can easily rotate it and insert it. So what's really good about this is if you have a lot of different pages you want to insert, it's not a big deal. You can make them as small as you want and line them up here, because if you need to read it, you can easily zoom in and read it. So you can make it very small or have a bunch of them and it would still be the same. So I often like to insert dress down flyers on the days that we have them. So if I know I'm going to have a dress down the week of August 10th, then I like to go and insert that dress down picture right here on August 10th or on this week. So that way I know exactly where it was. Or if next year we're like, oh, what was that dress down for Red Ribbon Week? I can go back to Red Ribbon Week in this one and see all of the dress downs. It's also a good idea to insert parent notes for a kid maybe that has to ride a different bus or has a different transportation issue on a certain day. You can insert that there, like in your notes section. So I like to label this like block 1, block 2, block 3, small groups, and notes. You can easily insert that, so if a parent has a question about if they send a note or anything like that, you could have it ready to go. Step 3 would be to sync your planner to your phone. So, sorry, I'm on picture mode still. You can easily sync your planner to your phone by making sure that you have it selected in your Goodnotes, settings. And you do that by going back just into your Goodnotes, and you want to hit this little gear right here and hit settings. Once you hit settings, you want to go to iCloud settings and make sure that it is selected. And it synchronizes as long as you're on Wi-Fi. So that way when you're on your phone, you can easily access your planner from your phone, and it will obviously sync whenever it's on Wi-Fi. So when I'm on mine, I can easily access it from anywhere just in case I need it. And one of my favorite parts is that I can access my life planner, and whenever I am working on meal planning or I need my grocery list in the store, I can easily access it from my phone. That's probably one of my favorite things about it syncing to your phone. So that is tip number 3. Make sure that you are syncing it to your phone so that way you can access it on the go. Tip number 4 is to make sure you use it to calculate your data. So in my small groups, I like to document who I'm meeting with every day and what I'm doing with that student. So for example, in my small groups, I may have, sorry about that. In my small groups, I may meet with these 4 students for math, just for example names. And then I like to document what I do with each child on my documentation page. So I like to meet with Ross on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This is a skill I worked with him on. And this is the next one, and this is his progress and if he needs more practice. So as we go on and I fill this out, I can keep this page for Ross, or and I can put another student here. I also have a planning page where I can write which students I write with, which students I work with. But my favorite part about this is at the end of the year or the end of the 9 weeks, or maybe at an IEP meeting, when I need to discuss the data on this student, I can easily hit the search button, type in his name, and anywheres that I have written his name will show up. So if I've written it here, or even on a gradebook sheet, or on a small group planning, or on a data sheet, his name will come up. So if I have all of his progress documented here and I need to export this to a special education teacher or maybe my administration, I can just click the share button, export this page, or export I wouldn't want to export the whole thing, but I would send this page by email or maybe to Google Drive to the person that needs it. There are also student data sheets, so this child could have theirs sent as well, and I think it's the way I wrote it, that's why his didn't come up, but I can have all of his things sent. Oh, this was the third one that came up right here. This can be sent as well, so that way I could have all of his data tracking for every single standard, and they can see his progress as he goes on. So this would be really good for IEP meetings, trying to keep track of that data. So that way you don't have a big meeting, a big binder you have to bring to a meeting when you're trying to talk about a child's progress. Tip number 5 would be to utilize your to-do list. So my favorite way to utilize my to-do list is to have a weekly and a daily checklist. So when I'm setting up my daily checklist, here is an example. I like to have things that I need to do today, because even though like this is just something simple, I like to check these things off. So it makes me feel like I'm getting through something, and then I highlight things that I've done. I don't really scratch them off. So this is something that I like to set up every day, and I set this up after I set up my weekly one. So when I'm trying to set up the weekly planner, the first thing I like to do is look at the things that are due on certain days. Like I like to send home my test folders on Tuesdays. Lesson plans are due on Thursdays. We have to send home newsletters on Mondays. So when I'm setting up my daily planning list, I make sure that this item is done the day before. I make sure that this item is done the Friday before. So when I'm setting up my to-do list, I want to make sure that those things are done in ample amount of time. So when I'm listing out all the things I need to do, and when I set up Monday's one, I'm going to look at all the things that need to be done 24 hours in advance, so that way I don't feel behind whenever I'm setting up my checklist. And if there's things that don't get done because they can move over, all I have to do is just duplicate this page by selecting duplicate. And when I duplicate it, I can easily erase this, change it to Tuesday, erase the things that I've already done, and I can lasso and move this up. You don't have to reinvent something every day to get it started. And you can easily delete things that do not matter. So tip number 5 was to utilize your daily planning. Tip number 6 kind of goes with this and is use digital stickers for motivation. So as you can see, I like the hydrate button, the hydrate digital sticker, because I like the thrill of just shading in one of these little droplets after I have drank a bottle of water. And these are all included here in the stickers. I have lifestyle stickers, and there are also different other kinds of motivational stickers. There are motivational quotes, and there's also checklists, things to get done, things to buy, errands to run, and also, like I said, the hydrate stickers. The motivational stickers are also here, along with some other lifestyle stickers. So that's tip number 6. And the last one, tip number 7, is to insert all things you may often need in a meeting. So one thing that I know I need in every single meeting is a list of my 5th grade math learning standards. So I like to have that included in my planner at all times, so that way I don't have to have a binder. So what I did was I went on my state education website. I screenshot, this is obviously just the beginning of it, screenshot my standards and just inserted it using the picture tool after I screenshot it. So that way it was ready to go, and I can highlight and write on it whenever I need it. So if there's the standards you need, or if it's the level of rigors, or maybe the state practice test, you can easily insert that into your planner. You can download it or screenshot it and upload it. So let's say you want to insert it on a blank template. So if you want to insert it on a page that does not exist, then you could click on any one of these and duplicate it, just like I showed you earlier. So let's say you want to duplicate this and then create it to be your levels of rigor. And you go on your State Department website, screenshot it, and insert it. So if you're somewhere in your planner and you want to get to this, you can easily search levels of rigor and it will go straight to it. So that way, even though it may not be a tab, you can easily search it and find it and it'll be inserted right here. Okay? So that is tip number 7. Make sure you insert the things into your planner that you usually need. So that way you're not carrying excess things into your planner. There are plenty of things in the index that you can insert and duplicate so that way you don't have to carry all these things. And gradebook is one of them because that was something that weighed me down a lot. Feel free to check out the editing video and I hope you enjoyed these tips.